are listening to Japan Experts, the podcast that helps you plan, book, and enjoy an effortless and immersive journey to Japan. Excited to visit Japan but overwhelmed by endless options, confusing transport, or language barriers? I get it. I'm Miyuki Seguchi, licensed guide and your cultural bridge to Japan. I've helped countless travelers turn their Japan trips into seamless and unforgettable adventures, and I'll help you do the same. In every episode, you'll discover local tips, expert knowledge, and first-hand insights to plan with ease, travel confidently, and create lifelong memories in Japan. Ready to do this, Cassie? Let's dive in. Today, I'm joined by Hilary and Max, who traveled to Japan for the first time with their son. Like many travelers, they started their planning feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information and possibilities out there. In this episode, they share how they approached planning their trip, what helped them feel more confident while traveling around Japan, and the experiences that made their journey feel especially enriching and memorable. Although my program has evolved since we worked together, the heart of how I support travelers remains very much the same. And I think you'll find plenty of practical insights and thoughtful reflections throughout this conversation. So without further ado, let's welcome Hilary and Max. So you had about 12 days in Japan. How would you describe your overall trip in one sentence?
One sentence. My goodness. Enriching, amazing. I'm coming up with a lot of different adjectives because it's hard to encapsulate how incredible the trip was for us. That's not really a sentence.
Yeah, I would say in one sentence, 12 days is probably the minimum I would want to spend because it was such a full, rich experience. We certainly want more, but we certainly would not have been happy with less.
Oh, absolutely. That would be the minimum, without a doubt. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So looking back before your trip, how many months ago before your trip did you decide to visit Japan, and how did you start planning your trip?
Oh gosh. So it was a long time
Over
before.
a year,
Yeah, I'd say about a year because
maybe 18 months even. It was,
Yeah.
we knew it was, because as we told you, it was kind of a graduation, a high school graduation celebration for our son Sam. So the three of us were going to do this celebration trip. So we started planning it well in advance,
right.
and doing the research, and you started trying to learn Japanese. So,
A little.
so yeah, we were thinking about it for quite a long time.
Yeah, we wanted to really research and prepare well because, I mean, of course, you're saying it's a trip of a lifetime, and of course, now we want to go back. Not the only trip, but we wanted to be as prepared as we could be to experience as much as we could in the limited time we had.
Yeah.
So like I'd say a year before.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
What was your challenge before joining the Japan Travel Optimizer session?
So before, I had just been doing very general research, and I've watched a lot of programs and documentaries on Japan. And so that kind of gave me a sense of where we might want to be. I also knew we would be there in the summer, so it might be a little more difficult. It might be hotter. But I came up with a very basic plan. But I wanted someone who had experience and expertise in the country to be able to take a look at it. And that's kind of what brought me to you. So I found your podcast and I was listening to it, and I went on your website, and then I learned about the Travel Optimizer. And I said, well, let's see if we can work with Miyuki and she can check our itinerary and see if she would add to it, change it, give us advice. And it was the most valuable thing we ever did.
It was worth it.
Oh, Miyuki, because originally we were going to try to go from Tokyo to Hokkaido and then back to Kyoto and then back to Tokyo. And you were so wise and said, I don't know about that. Too much, Hilary, too much. So we kind of worked together to rethink it. And you understood what our goals were and what we wanted to experience. So even though we couldn't go to Hokkaido this trip, we still want to go back.
Yeah.
But we had other experiences that added to the trip, even without going to the North Island.
And I think the other big value was, you had, you knew about what was coinciding with our time there. So you knew that if we were going to be in Kyoto at this time, we could see the parade. And if we we're going to be in Tokyo on our last day, we could see the fireworks. And recommended, that we stretch to try to work those pieces in, which were some of the highlights. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And you had recommended too to take day trips out of Kyoto. And, because we didn't, obviously it's a crowded city and we wanted to be able to do as much as we could. But those day trips broke up the entire experience.
Yeah.
I think really nicely.
Added some great variety.
It added variety. And we also got to go into the country. We got to take the train into the country and navigate things on our own, which is exciting in itself. So I think you just really shaped the trip really well for us in a way that I know we wouldn't have had.
Yeah. And because it definitely felt like we were still making our own choices and had a lot of flexibility to do what we wanted, but having a good framework definitely helped a lot.
Yes. And that's really what it gave with the spreadsheet that we went through. It gave us that framework so that we knew, where we were going, but we still had flexibility. If we were tired and we wanted to sleep in one day, which we didn't really, but
we went back and took a nap.
We went back and took a nap, but we had the options to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that is really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was so fortunate to have you in the central region and spend 2 days with your family. And I like to ask you, what made you decide to join the tour in the first place? And what do you think the value of joining the tour rather than exploring on your own?
Yeah. Oh, I think it gave us the opportunity to just get more knowledge. If we had done this on our own, we wouldn't have learned about the history. We wouldn't have known exactly where to go. You have contacts that we certainly wouldn't have, that connected us to the tea house where we had lunch, and just make the experience smoother in so many ways.
Yeah.
And your recommendations just gave us a picture of Japan that wasn't a city, like a big city. And we really wanted that to be part of our experience in Japan, to not just stay in the cities.
Yeah. I think the other piece, we certainly couldn't have predicted this when we booked it with you, but once we were there and you were showing us around and giving us the tours, it felt like traveling with a friend and a local instead of being on the tour bus, where there's somebody with a microphone, narrating what you're seeing. You were really, just with us and experiencing everything with us and sharing it. It was very informal and friendly, and that I think was so much fun too.
Definitely. It felt like we were with a friend.
Yeah.
And that enriched the experience so much. Plus, you're so knowledgeable. We learned so much and just experienced so much. And these are things that we would not have had if we hadn't gone on a tour with you.
Yeah, it was just nice to be able to ask you anything.
Right.
As we went throughout the days,
Right. And it gave me confidence. It gave me more confidence in going to a country that's very, very different from our own. And that felt really good. that felt really good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Like lots of compliments.
It's all true. It's so good to have a local perspective, you know? That really makes everything a lot more enjoyable. And I would absolutely do it again.
Yeah. I mean, your brother and sister-in-law went to Japan like a month before we did, but they went on a fully structured,
Very structured
tour. You know, so the bus would take them to a certain place, and everybody gets off the bus and they see things. And I've been on trips like that before, which is kind of nice, but at the same time, you feel insulated. You don't feel really connected until you actually walk away from the tour bus and try to explore on your own. Whereas I never felt insulated when we were traveling with you.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we would definitely, if we came back, we would definitely want to try to spend some time with you and have you show us some new places.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I know, like, yes, there are different types of tours, and the private tours and the big group, like guided tours, are very different things, right? Yes. So, any recommendations, suggestions for people who are planning to visit Japan, because there are like so many listeners who are excited to visit Japan and looking for some advice. So, what kind of things you'd like to tell them?
You go first.
Okay. I would say, because when we were planning and talking with you and doing our research, there's a high level of anxiousness, of uncertainty, because there's so much we don't know what to expect. But one of the things that I commented on when we came back, and I think even when we were in Japan, is that we were surprised at how easy it is to navigate, even with the language barrier and the cultural differences. Everyone we met was very helpful and friendly. Literally navigating the transportation system was very straightforward because the signs are good, everything's on time, it's well organized. Buying things, paying for things was very easy, and it made it feel like we could sort of not, I won't say fit in, but at least feel comfortable that we're not lost, if you know what I mean. And so yeah, just being able to navigate is so much easier than you might expect.
Definitely.
And so I think that's one of the big pieces of advice I would give to somebody considering going to Japan is don't be afraid. It's going to be easier to navigate than you expect.
Okay, that's a good one. I would say too, do your research. Think about what you want. What are your goals?
Yeah.
Think about the experiences that you would like to have, and work with someone who understands that. Who can help you reach those goals. As opposed to just recommending a place where everybody goes. If working with someone like you who was very thoughtful about making recommendations was super, super helpful. So I would say try and work with someone who knows their stuff. I think that's a really, really important thing. And get a Suica card for your phone. That was great. We did that back in the States, and it was so easy to pay for the trains, and I mean, you name it. It made life a lot easier. And don't be afraid. Be bold. Challenge yourself. It was a real adventure, and we came back just changed by it in a lot of ways. I think with a greater appreciation for Japan. And a love of it, I think. At least that's how I feel. And a desire to go back.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. That all it matters, right? Because thinking about already the next trip is a sign that your trip was successful, right? So, yes, that's
Definitely. More than successful. Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely exceeded our expectations.
It absolutely did. It absolutely did. And, Max was talking before about feeling a little anxious before you take a trip. But because we had planned, we alleviated a lot of that. And we knew that we would see you in central Japan as well. So that also relieves some stress. And that I think was hugely
I agree,
valuable.
yeah, the first few days in Tokyo were fun. We managed to connect with some work associates of Hilary's while we were there and do a few things, but at the same time, we were still finding our way, getting acclimated. And then we connected with you, and that really kind of helped, I think, ground us, solidify us, and make us feel more confident overall. Because the rest of the trip was so much easier after that.
We got used to it, and we just embraced it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's so glad to hear that. So it like the time with the locals gave you a bit of confidence to travel more freely and confidently. Yes, that's wonderful.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Do you have any last comments?
My goodness, we can't thank you enough. Really,
Yeah.
really, just your expertise and your warmth, and your ability to be able to help us shape the trip in a way that would make it memorable for us. We can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
if you come to Boston, we hope we can return the favor.
Yes.
I would love to visit Boston, and yes, I really enjoyed spending time with you two and also your family, like three of you, and it's been joy. It's been like my great pleasure to have worked with you and have met you, and yeah, like being able to talk to you like this. Yes, thank you so much. Let's craft your dream Japan trip together. Head over to Instagram at japan.experts and DM me Japan. I'll personally share expert insights and recommendations to help you plan with ease and feel confident about your trip, so you can make unforgettable lifelong memories in Japan. Not on Instagram, no worries. Join the Japan Experts community on Facebook, where I share exclusive travel tips and answer your questions, or grab one of my free Japan travel guides. All the links are in the show note. I can't wait to connect with you soon.